I appreciate you. Yeah. Hey, about defunding the police. What do you think about that? All right. Welcome back. Hope you guys are enjoying these. If you are, please like, comment, and share. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you like it, subscribe. We're going to dive into yesterday's history and see how that relates to today. So, first thing that I had found here yesterday, in 1942, got the SS Normandy. Regarded as one of the biggest ships ever, one of the most elegant. It's unfortunately burned down yesterday in New York in 1942 while in process of being converted to an Allied transport ship. Supposedly it was also pretty quick, beat out the last massive ship in its same regard. I think it said it go up to 28 knots per mile. It was a pretty amazing ship, to say the least. I think it had 2,000 passengers, not including crew. But overall, pretty beautiful ship. I thought it was super cool. Some actual pictures of it. Just, man, right? That's what we create. Intense. But it was being processed to be used for war, and then ended up burning down, unfortunately. And then it was sold off, I believe it said for $162,000, and scrapped out for parts, which is even sadder. When I compare that to today, a bomber in India, a B-1B Lancer assigned to 34th Expeditionary Bomb Squadron at Ellsworth Air Force Base, prepares to land at Kempegowda International in Bengaluru, India on February 1st, 2021, USAF. Photo by Senior Airman Christina Bennett. Article came out 2 days ago. John A. Turpak basically went ahead and said a quote here from I believe India. India plays a key role in Indo-Pacific region, and under cooperation advances our shared vision of a rule-based international order that promotes the prosperity and security of all countries. U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Don Helflin, head of U.S. delegation, said to Aero India Press. Okay. And then it also went on to state the reason we are there is basically to make a stance, kind of show off what we have to the Indian people, and overall trade show is what it was exhibited at, but basically just growing ties between U.S. and India, with what we have going on in the war currently and the massive machines that we have as well. And then also at the same time, Reuters isn't loading here. What is going on? Alright, well, it doesn't want to load up there. Let's see if I can go over here. Nope. Okay. Well, looks like it does not want to load up there. But two U.S. carrier groups. Wait. Oh, they took down the page, huh? Two U.S. carrier groups conduct exercises in South China Sea. So we also had two carriers doing more. That's pretty interesting. Oh, there it goes. Exercises in South China Sea. Two carrier groups conducted joint exercises in South China Sea Tuesday, days after U.S. warships sailed near Chinese-controlled islands in the disputed waters. China denounced the United States for damaging peace and stability. So it's the 7 dot line, basically, right now in the South China Sea. China is building islands, and the population is growing on these islands. And if you buy any map from China, all of their maps now show that Taiwan is theirs, and the 7 dots are basically an entire portion of the sea that they own, blocking off trade, not allowing trade basically to go through one of the biggest Indo-Pacific trade routes. So it's pretty dangerous there, to say the least. Things are heating up, but we got some massive machines. We got beautiful planes. We did have beautiful boats. Our boats are beautiful now too, so who knows? I don't like war, but I think it's cool. Next thing we'll get into here, U.S. Signs Medicare into law. President Lyndon Johnson traveled in the Truman Library in Independence, Missouri to sign medical into law. Congress held its first hearings on government health insurance in 1916 during the Progressive Era. During the New Deal, health coverage became part of the deliberations over the Social Security program, but President Franklin Roosevelt decided it was better strategy to pass the old age pension provisions first. Goes on, during Dwight E. Eisenhower's president, Congress enacted the Carey Mills Bill for cases of medical indigency, to cover elderly individuals who needed the help with their medical bills but failed to qualify for welfare in their states. But reformers regarded Kerr Mills as inadequate, given the rising number of elderly and rising costs of hospital care. And then finally, in 1961, President John F. Kennedy made Medicare a legislation priority, recruited Clinton Anderson, New Mexico, to manage his bill. Anderson, a pragmatic and effective legislator, had suffered frequent bouts of illness throughout his life, perhaps a man who spent most of his life fighting off effects of illness. He once wrote, "Acquires an understanding of people and importance of professional health to all people, health care to all people." The public opinions polls suggested strong for the bill. Anderson faced powerful opponents, including the House Ways and Means chairman, the American Medical Association, and Senate Finance Committee chairman Harry Byrd. Virginia, the bill's opponents prevailed, narrowly defeating the bill in 1962. It was reintroduced in 1963, and then following Kennedy's assassination, Anderson worked painstakingly to build solid bipartisan Senate support, and then ended up in 1964, the House and Senate passed alternative versions of the bill, but failed to resolve those differences in conference after Anderson did pass. Saying a lot there, but it's kind of interesting kind of history right there. Today, strong majority of voters believe likely that COVID-19 was created in a lab. I think this is obviously an opinion piece, but the idea would be like Labgate. I don't know what they're calling it, but the story that I had heard on Fox News was basically there was a cave, had a bunch of bats in it. They researched the cave. There was over 180 different coronavirus kind of flus or things in the similar vicinity, not exactly the one that we're dealing with now, but they focused, they as in Fauci, focused on gaining one of them, and then doing gain of function to use it for creating vaccines so that they can be on top of it. But in my opinion, I think it's also possibly for military exercise, to make it stronger, so that you can use it as a weapon. But they changed the name. I forget what the name was. The guy breaks it all down. He reached out to them. They completely diverted him to a different area, completely against what the question he asked. And he requested on what this means. it's not even the same thing. And then they told him to do something, and it showed that basically Fauci, during the Obama administration, was working on gain of function, and his company, or the NICD, NAICD, I forget what it's called, the exact acronym, but I should just figure out what the actual name is. But either way, he's the guy running the thing. They were doing gain of function studies. They were trying to do the gain of function. Obama came in and said, no, we can't be doing that anymore. Stop it here in the U.S. So they went over to China and they started doing it there, in Wuhan, China, and they were working on a bat virus that they had found, and the only one that actually matched up to what we did today. There was only one out of like the 130. It's a pretty interesting clip that they had there on Fox. I don't know what the guy's name is. I always forget. Steve Hamilton or something like that. He's the bald dude who's got the English accent. Really, really interesting stuff, at least what he was saying and how he's trying to reach out to them. But kind of compare that to Medicare. I mean, didn't have support back then, and I obviously brought some stuff up about Medicare yesterday if you want to check out that video as well. But I just thought this was interesting with everybody talking about it, so I thought I'd give it a little push. But then also, interest whose COVID investigators the recipient of Chinese communist cash, worked with Wuhan lab. So it's also being funded through the CCP, which is a danger in itself. But the next thing I'm actually relieved to say, because it's something a little normal. I thought I'd bring some normalcy. The Beatles appeared on Ed Sullivan. I'm going to play a little bit of it. Come on, baby, come on and work it on out. Work it on out. First time ever, the popular music group by the Beatles had appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. Shortly afterwards, they played their first American concert at the Coliseum. The Beatles had come a long way. They originated from England and were told that they could not carry a tune across the Atlantic. In the early days, they were thought off to be more than a fad. That, of course, was proven wrong many times over, sparking Beatlemania a couple months later, as you see this girl freaking out. Great, though. Estimated 73 million Americans were watching that night as the Beatles made their live U.S. television debut. Roughly 8 minutes before Fred Capps took the stage, Sullivan gave his now famous intros. Ladies and gentlemen, Beatles. Super cool. I thought that was awesome. To kind of bring it into today, we got Mark Cuban taking away music and culture, when he's saying he doesn't want the national anthem to be played in the games anymore. NBA reported back, in keeping with long-standing league policy, the NBA announced on Wednesday that it will be requiring all teams to play the national anthem prior to games. The reason he stated, basically why he did it, he never formally announced the change, that he didn't want to do it, but confirmed that the team had abandoned the practice after it was noticed that the Star Spangled Banner had not been played at any home games during the season. Declined to provide a reason for it. Cuban had previously expressed support for players kneeling during the national anthem, saying if they were taking a knee and they were being respectful, I'd be proud of them. Hopefully I'd join them. And it goes on to say that conservatives are pissed off. I mean, I'm pissed off. Like, what are we doing here? Are we playing basketball, or with a bunch of Americans, and we're all going to celebrate being Americans playing basketball together? Or are we all going to say, nah, I'm going to bring my point of view, and if you don't like that, I'm not going on the court. I'm not playing the game anymore. Or I guess they wouldn't do that because they want to make their money, but what are we doing here? I mean, seriously. Ridiculous. Next one, I'll bring it to here. We have 1964, Gary Kasparov and the Game of Artificial Intelligence. and he lost to Deep Blue, IBM's chess-playing computer, in 1997. Is able to imagine average of 200 million positions per second. Kasparov ended up losing the match. He won the first day. Second day, he said that the computer didn't play like a computer, which was interesting, to say the least. But I thought it was super amazing technology in 1997. Amazing things going on, creating machines that can beat a game of chess. Pretty cool. And then what do I bring it to today? Aunt Jemima brand's new name has been revealed. Quaker Oats announced last summer that it would scrap the Aunt Jemima name and logo due to racial stereotypes. It's now going to be called the Pearl Mining Company. And why do I compare it to this? Because we're moving backwards, man. Like, we had machines that were beating people in chess in 97, and now we're worrying about what the hell's on a bottle of syrup. Like, our girl's beautiful. What does it matter? This is ridiculous. This is the culture nowadays. This is what we're looking at in the news, not on what's next in the innovative age of tomorrow and how we're all gonna kumbaya and sing at the end of the day because we'll be able to survive longer, be happier, be healthier, and it's just, it blows my mind. This is what we're waiting for. Look at the long-awaited new name and logo to replace Quaker Oats Aunt Jemima. It's been revealed. This is so amazing. Oh my God, they're going back to the old one when they were founded in 1888. Jesus, come on, dude. It makes no sense. But I thought it was hilarious at the same time. Like, we're worrying about a label, a bottle of syrup, while, 11,000 people just lost their jobs because we're all gonna die from global pandemics, and we're worrying about a bottle of syrup. Where's the... I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But let me know what you guys think. She's a beautiful lady. Why are we changing Aunt Jemima? Should we be doing something like this again? Should we be looking more into Neuralink? That's scary as well, but I mean, simplicity or stupidity is that the basis of what I would say. Is this simplicity or is this stupidity? Like, should we not be paying attention to technology and that's why they're trying to do it? I have no idea, but let me know what you think. Also yesterday, legal rights extended for same-sex couples. In 2014, United States Attorney General Eric Holder stated in a speech that the Justice Department was going to make a greater effort to extend rights to same-sex partners. Some of the rights to be extended including being able to make visits at federal prisons. Which, alright, that's cool. Do whatever you want, I guess. If you're already in prison, it's like, dude, they just want to be happy while they're... Well, I guess you're in prison. You did something bad. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, if it's allowed to one though, then it should be allowed to you as well. So if you just don't have it to where like you're in a male prison and then a girl walks in, but then again, if a guy walks in, he's got, he's hiding something. I mean, they search him, so I don't know. It's a weird one, but and then also the right not to testify against a spouse in court. I mean, everybody has that right regardless, right? I mean, you could plead the fifth. I mean, right? Why are we? I don't know. That doesn't seem like an extra right not to testify. and I bring it to Biden's amazing press secretary, Jen Psaki, our soap opera queen, and answering questions about transgender people entering women's sports.
Rescue plan, but we want to wait to see what the health and medical experts have in those guidelines to ensure we're directing those resources in the right way or working with states to do exactly that.
Secondly, on President Biden's transgender rights executive action, specifically when it applies to high school sports, what message would the White House have for trans girls and cis girls who may end up competing against each other and sparking some lawsuits and some concern among parents? So does the administration have guidance for schools on dealing with disputes arising over trans girls competing against and with cis girls?
Like basically, yeah, you messed up really bad. Do you have advice on what we should do when all of these lawsuits start coming out? Let's see what Circle Back's answer is. Circle Back, girl.
I'm not sure what your question is.
All right, let her do it one more time. Hold on.
Rescue plan.
Damn it.
But the administration have guidance for schools on dealing with disputes arising over trans girls competing against and with cis girls?
Guidance on trans girls and cis girls competing against each other.
I'm not sure what your question is.
The president's executive order had.
I'm familiar with the order, but what was
I'm familiar with the order. Yep, he fucked up.
your question about
My
it?
question is, does the president have a message for local school officials on dealing with these kind of disputes that are
Schools, it's going to cause an issue. What should we tell them?
already starting to arise? Between, trans girls who are competing and cis girls and a level playing field, particularly in high school sports when it leads to college scholarships. Is there any kind of messaging?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. What about the scholarships that the girls will no longer be receiving for something that they achieved in until Caitlyn Jenner comes in and was an Olympian before and shows all the girls how to do it like a girl now, I guess, right?
For clarification that the White House wants to give on the executive order.
I would just say that the president's belief is that trans rights are human rights, and that's why he signed that executive order. And in terms of the determinations by universities and colleges, I would certainly defer to them.
Basically, we're not going to do anything. It's up to you guys. It's like, screw you guys, I'm going home. Sounds like Cartman.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Caitlin. Go ahead. Go ahead, and then we go to the back. Go ahead.
Stick out of my way, you.
Rescue plan.
Ridiculous. Circle back, girl. This is what we want to do.
As you know, President Trump has
If
been
you don't know
barred
what to do, you should ask somebody else, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So you should like totally ask someone else, because I don't know what your question means. And that's not important. Oh, gotta love her. Days of Our Lives, right? But I hope you guys enjoyed. February 9th is in the books. Yesterday is down for the count until next year. If you do like it, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Hit that like button. And again, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I think it shows like 60% of the people who watch aren't subscribed. So I hope you subscribe and enjoy it. But I'm going to be going live here a little bit later. And tomorrow, be back doing an update, another one. But if I don't see you, I hope you all have a good night. And as always, good tomorrow. Peace.